All right. Last thing, a tool, book, or resource that you think is invaluable when you're conducting your research on spinoffs.
Yeah, well, I got to give a plug for my own site. So stockspinoffinvesting.com is my site. And it's a membership site where I share my best ideas, but I also have a spinoff calendar, which I basically post a lot of free content. So I have all the spinoffs that are coming, the when issue date, or the when the spinoff's going to start trading. So I think that's a good place to start. But what I do is I also include a link, and I'm trying to build this out. I've only been doing this, for a year, so I'm trying to improve my site, and it's getting better, I think, every day. But have a resource page for each spinoff where I'm going to basically be giving an overview of the spinoff, providing links to the Form 10 filings, the spinoff presentation, and then also doing a deep dive into every spinoff ahead of time. I think that's going to be a very valuable resource that's going to be more valuable over time. I think if you haven't read, You Can Be a Stock Market Genius, definitely pick that up by Joel Greenblatt. I'm trying to think of what other resources that I use. I do, this is completely free. I do a Google alerts to alert me of spinoffs. So I just create a bunch of Google alerts like stock spinoff business. Because if you just do spinoff, a lot of times like a TV show spinoff will get flagged by Google. Seeking Alpha spinoff is another Google alert that I use. I'm trying to think if there are any other. Just Google stock spinoff, and there's a lot of other sites that are good that pop up as well. So I feel like there's a lot of good resources out there. I'd say if you do want to learn how to invest in spinoffs, the best way to do it is to just do it, to just start investing. And I think one thing that's been invaluable for me, I've become a lot better investor, is just keeping, I kept a blog where I kind of documented my investment theses and documented the mistakes that I made. And I think that's something that I would highly recommend doing, because it just forces you to be accountable, because it's super easy to just remember your winners and say, oh, I was going to invest in that one, but I couldn't for XYZ reason. But it's really fun to be able to just go back and look to see your analysis, where you were right, where you were wrong. And it really holds you accountable and forces you to really look back in an unbiased way to evaluate, what you got right and maybe what you got wrong. So I'd say that's more appropriate for anybody that wants to invest. But I think it's definitely helpful investing in spinoffs too, because you start to notice patterns, you start to notice lessons learned, and it can just help you going forward.
Cool. Yeah, I agree with you. Keeping record of what you do. I don't post mine out on social media stuff. I send out my emails to my subscribers and stuff like that. But man, having a record of what you did and why you did it is probably the most invaluable thing you can do in this business.
Exactly. And you don't even need to post it online. But you can just, as long as you're like tracking it and keeping it wherever, and it doesn't have to be super formal, but it helps just kind of hold you accountable. So to figure out, what went wrong when a stock blows up, like Quorum Health, you can go back and be like, okay, here's what I did, here's what I missed, here's what I'm going to look for going forward. Obviously it's a continual learning process, but when you just keep notes, it helps to kind of ingrain those lessons learned.
Yeah, you're totally right. Also, when you do it yourself and you leave a little bit of blood,
yeah,
remember it next time.
Exactly.